Hey guys, welcome back to Tip Tuesday. My name is Matthew Sturkey with Stone Mill Log and Timber Homes. Thanks for joining us. Last week we talked about timber roof systems. This week we're going to talk a little bit about hybrid roof systems and what that means. A lot of people throw that word out there, hybrid roof, and honestly, a lot of people don't really even know what it means. And with a hybrid roof, it's basically a hybrid of conventional framing and timber construction. It is a mix between the two. So why would you want to do a hybrid roof? Well, a couple of reasons that might be there. One is if you're wanting to do some recessed lighting in that roof system and some can lights, and you want to put can lights up in the ceiling that illuminate down into the room, a hybrid roof is a good way to go, because with a timber roof, like we talked about last week, it's built up. You have a structural ridge beam, you have structural rafters, you have 2x6 structural decking on top of the rafters, underlayment, and then a structural insulation panel built up. So a lot of times you don't want to cut into that structural insulation panel and put recessed lighting. Whereas with a hybrid roof, as you can see from this image, you've got a timber ridge beam. You would have a timber ridge support, which is what you see here, that is exposed. And then you have conventional framing. So in conventional framing of a hybrid roof, that gives you the ability to run all your electrical wiring, do your recessed lighting, your can lights, and then once you get all your inspections done, then you can insulate the ceiling before you put your finished wall treatment underneath. So recessed lighting considerations are one of the biggest reasons people will do a hybrid roof. The second reason, and this is not always the case, but some people think that you can save a lot of money doing a hybrid roof. Well, I'm going to tell you that that's actually not totally true. Unfortunately, the amount of time that you have in putting all your finished tongue and groove on the ceiling in a hybrid roof, and then mounting all your decorative beams in the ceiling to get that same look as a timber roof, you're going to basically spend back the money and labor that you save in material by doing a hybrid roof. What you see here is blocking that is in between the rafters to accept those decorative beams that you have to bolt into the ceiling, because you're not going to want to bolt a decorative beam into the end or into the bottom of a structural rafter. So you do this blocking. So the amount of material that you have for the blocking to accept the decorative beams creates additional cost. And then you've got the additional labor of putting in the tongue and groove finish for the ceilings and the decorative beams for creating that same look. Whereas with a timber roof system, you've got the ridge beam, the structural exposed timber rafters, the exposed tongue and groove, structural tongue and groove decking, and then that ceiling is pretty finished at that point. So you're going to save a little bit of money, especially if you're doing some sweat equity. I had a client in here on Monday who was basically saying, hey, I'm going to do all the installation of my tongue and groove finish in the ceiling and all the decorative beam insulation. I'm going to do all my own framing, all my own blocking. And in that situation, you can save some money because of sweat equity. But the bigger reason is going to be lighting considerations. So when you see a decorative, what we call a hybrid roof construction with decorative beams and tongue and groove finish, you typically are not going to have your rafters spaced as close as what you would in a structural timber application. They tend to be a little farther apart, and your beam size is not going to be typically as big as you would see in a structural application. For decorative purposes or hybrid roof construction, you would see a smaller beam. You would see beams that were spaced farther apart, just to control costs. So that is certainly another reason that people do hybrid roof construction, is to try to control some costs. There is definitely some cost savings in there, but it's not as significant as what people think. So these are just some images of some hybrid roof construction. You can see the deco beams. They've been fastened into the blocking that you saw in that construction image. All of the tongue and groove is a 1x6 TNG, not a 2x6, because again, it's not a structural application. And you can see a finished room, looks very similar. That's another option, is some people want to go with, conventional construction and they just want a deco hybrid application to create the same look, so that they can do some of the work themselves. But it also, more importantly, gives you that recessed lighting, those lighting considerations that a lot of people want, with a hybrid application. So hopefully this has been helpful. Hybrid roof construction is very difficult to understand sometimes. Please reach out to your sales consultant and feel free to ask them about hybrid roof construction. What are the pros and cons? What are the differences? We're happy to, look at that cost structure with you in the value engineering and in the design and estimating phase, so that you know what the difference between the two is. But those are just some of the tips and some of the differences today between hybrid roof construction and timber roof construction, so that you have a better feel for what the difference is between the two. So hopefully this has been helpful. Thanks for joining us for Tip Tuesday. We look forward to you joining us next week for more Tip Tuesday. Until then, as always, stay safe and healthy and take care.